We, the fans, are so cooked, man. It's like not even funny. We all had hopes that all this was BS, that it was just Ariel. Ariel's not a credible source, which that was cope on all our parts. And we all just, all the fans in the UFC kind of loves to give Ariel crap because it's kind of fun. I'll have to admit. Although I like Helwani. I can kind of see why people don't like him. He can be a little bit of a weasel. I like Ariel, but we owe you an apology, Ariel. You were right. So for whatever reason, we lose Hill versus Olberg. Like, no explanation. This is the post saying possibly canceled, but it is officially canceled. That is why they're going to this one, Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega. Now, this is where it's saying like this is just possible. But full violence, I think, is it's. Hold on a second. Let me get my water because my throat is killing me. Sorry, I'm sick, so every time I talk, my throat hurts, so I need a little bit of water support. Okay, full violence isn't saying it's official, but it's gonna be official. Like, it's in the works. 2 weeks notice to fill in for Hill versus Olberg. Instead of trying to find a replacement for whoever the hell pulled out, I guess it was probably Jamal Hill. Not sure. But, wow. Brian Ortega. I mean, all they could have done was just move MVP versus Ian Gary to the co-main event spot. Problem solved, but for some reason they're not doing that. They have to add a new fight. Ortega versus Brian Ortega versus what's this boy's name? Diego Lopez. I don't know. It doesn't make that much sense. I mean, this was for when I was going to actually do the prediction video, guys, where I had this up on the screen. But let me look at these rankings right now. Okay, so, where are you at? Okay, Brian's ranked number 3. Diego Lopez is ranked number 14. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a good opportunity for Diego, short notice. If he can beat Ortega, he's already top 3. He'll become one of the bigger stars, bigger names in the division, and he'll already be one step closer to a title shot, whereas Ortega, nothing to gain, everything to lose. Diego, nothing to lose, everything to gain out of this fight. Who will win the fight? I kind of want to say Diego Lopez, but you never know with Ortega. He's weird like that. Like, he's kind of a paradox in the sense of, I don't know if I used that term correctly, where it's like, every time I pick him to lose, apart from the Max fight, he ends up winning. Like, I doubted him against Frankie and TKZ and Yair Rodriguez in the second fight, and he finishes all 3 guys. Well, doesn't finish Zombie, but you get the point. Then when I expect him to win, when I picked him to get the upset over Volk, I picked him by sub, almost happened. Didn't happen, gets his ass kicked. When I picked him to beat Yair the first time, he pops his shoulder, so I'm not that confident really picking Brian Ortega fights. And Diego is really, really dangerous. Very well-rounded. I think he's got better hands than Brian Ortega. He's just as good on the ground as Ortega. And he's got some nasty power, and Brian in that last fight showed that chin may not be so granite anymore. I mean, he's still tough. He survived the storm, the onslaught of Yair, but Diego hits harder than Yair Rodriguez, and he's not going to lose steam to his shots after he hurts you. He's still going to be dangerous. Now, I don't know if Lopez has ever been past the first round. I got to do more research on that. You can tell me in the comment section down below, because I'm kind of done going in the search bar throughout this video, kind of messing up the flow. But I don't know. I could see Diego knocking him out potentially because he hits really hard. And Ortega, he showed that he's kind of chinnable in that last fight. And the difference between Diego and Yair is Diego can fight Ortega on the ground. Rodriguez can't. So if Lopez starts hurting him early but can't even get a finish, I don't think Brian's going to have that clear path to victory to dominate with his grappling. So we'll see. It could go either way. I'm trying not to cough in this video. But I don't know, man. I'm disappointed that Jamal Hill is out. Like, I know it was too soon for Jamal Hill to come back this quickly from getting knocked out by Pereira. I know he said he wasn't concussed, he was still in it, but you got knocked out. It doesn't matter. You got knocked out. You need time off. And I said I had a feeling. I'm just going to cough. I said that I have a feeling that Jamal Hill's quick turnaround is going to be one of those situations where someone is scheduled to turn around really quickly from getting knocked out, and then that fight just ends up getting canceled. I did say that I did feel that was going to be the case. I had a feeling that this fight, that Jamal was not going to be fighting on the 29th. I didn't know it would be Khalil to pull out. I thought Hill would pull out, but I guess now Jamal pulled out. I feel like he did. They didn't really explain who pulled out of what. Or maybe they're just canceling the fight altogether. Maybe they're postponing it. Maybe for Jamal Hill's health and safety. But honestly, this is a blessing in disguise for Jamal Hill. Because even though I think on paper he should be able to beat a guy like Carlos Ulberg, I do think he would have beaten Roundtree. Ulberg, unlike Khalil, I think he's a lot more skilled and dynamic with the striking. He's not just all power. I mean, Roundtree was a good all-around striker too, but I like Ulberg's boxing better than Khalil. I think he's a better kickboxer than Khalil. You know, he's also 6'4". He matches Jamal Hill's height and stature, so it's a dangerous fight for Jamal, for Salty Mal Hill. Sorry, Jamal, I love you. But yeah, it was a dangerous fight, so maybe Jamal just needed time off. I do think Jamal, on a good night, when he's fully recovered in the right physical and mental space, he should be able to beat a guy like Carlos Ulberg. Because let's not forget, say what you want about the vacant belt and Glover being an old man, he was the champion, okay? He's the number 3 contender. He's one of the best light heavyweights in the world. He's got that top flight experience. He's fought for the belt on 2 occasions, and he's fought nothing but top-tier guys in his last few fights. So I do think experience-wise, in terms of being a savvy vet, Jamal did have that on Ulberg, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that you're going to win. It's all about style. So, but I do think that Hill getting this time off, I think if they postpone this to like July or August, I think it'll be good for Hill. And actually, I'll get into this in a moment, but Conor Chandler, they're hoping to reschedule that for August. Maybe they could reschedule this for August on that exact same card or whenever it's going down. But it does suck for Hill, because even though it's good for him, at the same time, he was actually looking in sick shape. Like, he was losing the belly fat. He was gaining some abs on that stomach. So I'm like, Hill was serious. Like, he had a chip on his shoulder. He was ready to come out there and sort of, I don't want to say right that wrong, because he's not beating Pereira, but just getting back in the win column ASAP. He was ready to win. But, oh well, I guess we'll see him back another time. But I do wish he was still on the card, man. I was looking forward to it. Okay, Chimaev's hospitalized, whatever. But let's talk about this. Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov is official for UFC Saudi Arabia, because Khamzat pulled out. Yeah, I feel like the UFC had more options. I mean, look at these rankings. Where's middleweight? I almost couldn't find that because I'm not used to not seeing Adesanya on here, so that's why I got lost. But man, if Strickland was willing to fight in the Middle East, or if Whittaker was booked to fight in the Apex on the 22nd, I guarantee Strickland would have taken this fight. They were saying it should be Nasruddin, but I literally said that Amavov just had a long, hard-fought fight with Cannonier after a long training camp, and I said he's going to need time to recover, so I can see why Amavov didn't take the fight. Can't be Cannonier, he just got finished. Marvin's recovering from a surgery. I thought maybe they could call him Brandon Allen, maybe Jack Hermanson. I was saying Jack would be a good candidate, but Aliskerov, dude's like nowhere to be seen in these rankings. And I mean, who has he beat other than like Walry Alves and the dude, Phil Hawes. Other than those guys, I mean, what has he done? He's not proven. Now, I know styles make fights, not resumes, but experience at the top of this level matters, and the fact that Ikram only has 2 UFC fights against 2 cans, I feel like he needed a chance to properly set his foot in the top 15 in these rankings before being ready to fight a guy like Whittaker. Like, he needed more time, more experience, and he needed to further build his resume. But he's rushing right in there due to circumstances. And I mean, imagine if Ikram Aliskerov actually wins this fight. That would be insane. I doubt it, though. I don't think he's going to win against Robert. I see a fraud check incoming in this matchup. I see shades of Abus Magomedov versus Sean Strickland. Because, again, there's parallels there. Abus Magomedov, 1 fight in the UFC against an absolute bum that no one's ever heard of. No one's heard of Abus until he was booked to fight Strickland. He clearly wasn't ready. Sean melted him inside 2 rounds, and now Sean Strickland went on. Now he's a former champion, so you can't be throwing these guys randomly out of the blue against these, like, top flight world-class fighters. Now, I understand it was due to circumstances. They wouldn't have booked this if otherwise, but they could. There was other guys. Like, I get they were hoping to maybe have another Muslim fighter, but still, they could have still pulled out Jack Hermansson because Volkov and Sergey Pavlovich, none of them, well, they're both Russian, but they're not Middle Eastern. You know what I mean? So why can't you not have Hermansson on there? I don't get it, but it is what it is. This might even be Whittaker's like first finish in like years, because I could easily see Ikram Aliskerov, if he doesn't get an early finish, I could see him just gassing and Robert Whittaker showing him that experience and kind of breaking him with adversity and getting a late TKO. I kind of want Ikram to win just for new blood to be running the top of the division, although I love Whittaker. I said before Khamzat pulled out, I said Chimaev winning would be better for the division because I like his chances against Duplessis and Adesanya more than Robert Whittaker. And it's just a fresh new star on the top of the division. And I do think that was going to be my official prediction. I was about to do a prediction for Whittaker versus Chimaev, and I do think that Khamzat was going to finish Robert Whittaker. I feel like he was going to prove a lot of people wrong coming off that Usman fight. And I predicted he was going to fold Whittaker exactly how Dricus Duplessis did. That fight showed me a lot of what I need to know for Whittaker's chances against Khamzat Chimaev. But whatever. Hopefully I don't lose Volkov versus Pavlovich, because that's my dream fight at heavyweight. And then, wow. So I can't believe it, man. For the first time ever, Conor McGregor was forced to pull out of a fight. And kudos to Conor, man. He's a warrior. He does not want to pull out at all costs. I know he didn't want to pull out, but I think the UFC pulled him out of the fight because they knew that, yeah, we don't want you fighting injured. He probably wasn't cleared by the doctors. I know he did everything he could to make it to the fight. It just didn't work out. I want an official statement, though, as to why Conor's out, but I believe it's to do with some kind of injury, although he's fought injured before. I don't know. I feel like the UFC, they want to give Conor a chance to be 100% healthy, although no one goes into a fight 100% healthy. But I'm not really going to read all the yapping that Ariel did. But I'm going to read 8/31, 9/28. So, the consensus seems to be that they want to announce to all the new date for McGregor Chandler, August or September, has been discussed. So I was thinking, like, okay, are they going to have to move any title fight off of 306 and 305 in order to have Conor Chandler happen? Like, because I was thinking that's going to create a mess in the landscape of every division moving forward in terms of title fights. But they're creating new dates. So UFC 306 will end up being August 31st. And 307 will just end up being in the Sphere. Or 307 will just be on September 28th. And they might still do the Salt Lake City fight or card pay-per-view on October 7th. We'll see. We'll see how they rearrange everything. But hopefully, Conor's recovered enough for August 31st. And hopefully this fight happens, man. If I'm Chandler, I don't care. I'm going to wait till my grave until that Conor fight happens. I will wait till I can't fight no more until that Conor fight happens. Because no way, knowing myself and my personality, I know you guys don't know me that well, if I were in that situation, I would not want to settle for anything else. I would not mentally recover from waiting a hard 2 years diligently for something that was so important just to be told it's not happening. So for Chandler's sake, this fight needs to happen, and for all the MMA fans' sake, Conor's comeback, it's got to happen sooner or later. I wonder what the new main event's going to be. It's probably going to be Yuri Prohaska versus Alex Pereira. If not, it's probably going to be Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira, too, for the BMF belt. Let me know what you guys think that will be in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe, and peace out.